Why, hello, I'm James, you're watching Accounting Stuff, and in this video, I'll show you how to set up payroll in QuickBooks Online step by step. We'll choose a payroll plan, add an employee, set up payroll taxes, and prepare our first pay run. Let's begin. Which QuickBooks payroll plan do you actually need? If you head down to the video description, you'll find two links. One is for existing QuickBooks users who want to add payroll to their subscription, and the other is for anyone who doesn't have QuickBooks Online yet and needs to get set up from scratch. For this walkthrough, we'll assume you're starting afresh. Once you click through, you'll see the four main QuickBooks Online plans. We have Simple Start, Essentials, Plus, and Advanced. None of these include payroll by default, but if we pick one, then the next step is to choose a payroll plan. As you can see, there are three options. We have Payroll Core, Payroll Premium, and Payroll Elite. Core is the cheapest way to run payroll in QuickBooks. It costs $50 per month and an extra $6.50 per employee per month. It'll help you calculate, file, and pay your payroll taxes, run automated payroll for salaried employees, and create and file 1099 forms for contractors. You'll also get some product support and next day direct deposit. Payroll Premium is a step up. It costs $88 per month and $10 per employee. Premium gives you 24/7 product support, same day direct deposit to help you pay your employees faster, time tracking on the go with a QuickBooks Workforce app, and an expert review of your payroll setup, which I'd definitely recommend if you're unsure about any of this. Finally, we have Payroll Elite, which throws in time tracking by project, expert setup where a payroll expert will help you get things going, tax penalty protection of up to $25,000 if you receive an IRS penalty, and a personal HR advisor. At $134 per month and $12 per employee, it's the most expensive payroll plan. But if you use my link in the description, then you'll get 50% off for 3 months. Once you're set up, you can always check your subscriptions by heading to the settings button in the top corner and clicking on subscriptions and billing. Today we're using QuickBooks Online Plus with QuickBooks Payroll Elite. Where can you find payroll in QuickBooks Online? There are a few ways to access payroll from the QuickBooks Online dashboard. You can find it up here in the app carousel. Clicking this button will bring up the payroll overview. You can also get here using the navigation menu under My Apps. This section has links to your employees, contractors, payroll taxes, benefits, HR advisor, and compliance. These links are really useful, so I'd recommend pinning the payroll app to your navigation menu using the Customize button. Once you're up and running, you can use the Create button to run payroll, add daily or weekly timesheet entries, which you can review and approve. There's also a quick action to add contractors. How do you set up payroll in QuickBooks Online? Good question. Right now, we're looking at a blank file, so let's add some details. If we head up to the settings menu, then account and settings, we can add our company information. We can give our business a name, a logo, and an industry. Once that's done, we can head back to the payroll overview and start onboarding to begin. QuickBooks will ask you a few setup questions to get things started. First up, have you already paid employees this year outside of QuickBooks? That could have been through another payroll provider or manually via a check or a bank transfer. If the answer is yes, QuickBooks will need your prior pay history so it can correctly calculate Social Security, Medicare, state, and federal taxes. That setup can be a bit more involved, so if you're in this situation, it's worth having an expert help you through it. For this video, we'll assume that this is a new business and select No. Next question. When is your first payday with QuickBooks? Let's go with
Friday the 13th. Ha 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 ha.
This date matters because it tells QuickBooks when to start calculating payroll taxes and which pay runs to include. What's the primary work location? Your work location can determine which state and local payroll taxes apply. We'll start with one main address here, but you can add additional locations later if you need to. If you have remote employees in other states, that's fine. Just be aware that each state can trigger different payroll tax requirements. Next, QuickBooks asks you for your payroll contact. This is the person responsible for payroll inside the business. They'll receive reminders about pay runs, tax payments, and any important forms that are due. In many small businesses, this might be the owner, but if you have a bookkeeper or an accountant managing your payroll, then you'd enter their details here instead. And that's it. With your payday set and business info complete, the next step is to tell QuickBooks about your team. If you've been using another payroll provider like ADP, Gusto, or Paychex, you can import your employee data directly from there. You can also upload a spreadsheet if you already have your team details saved in Excel. But today we're just getting started, so let's add our team manually. This is where you start adding employees. Who's your new team member? This is where we enter their basic details like first name, last name, email address, and hire date. The email is important because it gives your employee access to QuickBooks Workforce, where they can view their payslips, tax forms, and other payroll documents. You can let the employee enter their own tax and direct deposit details through QuickBooks Workforce, or you can do it yourself. And don't worry, you can always edit employee details later if something changes. At the bottom, QuickBooks lets you turn on time tracking so employees can log their hours in Workforce and have that data flow directly into payroll. After clicking Add Employee, QuickBooks takes us into the employee profile. You'll notice a few orange exclamation points. That's QuickBooks telling you that there's still required information to enter before we can run payroll. We'll start with personal info. To pay an employee, QuickBooks needs to know their home address, date of birth, and social security number. This information is required for tax reporting and W-2 forms, so it's important to enter it accurately. Next up, we'll add some employment details. Here you can edit the hire date and add a pay schedule. This determines how often the employee gets paid and which pay periods they'll be included in. You can choose the pay frequency, which might be every other week, and add a pay schedule name. If this is a standard schedule, you can tick the box to use it for other employees. Then click Save. I'll just add a job title before heading back to the employee profile. If you scroll down, you'll see an option to run a background check. This is completely optional and we won't be using it in this walkthrough. Next is tax withholdings. This section determines how much federal and state taxes will be withheld from the employee's paycheck. The information here usually comes from the employee's completed W-4 form. It's important to enter this accurately because it directly affects their take-home pay. Next is payment method. Here we choose how the employee gets paid. Since this is a sample company, we'll use paper check, but in reality, most businesses would use direct deposit. If we scroll down further, we come to base pay. This is where you decide how the employee earns money. It could be hourly, salary, or on commission. We'll go with hourly. You can enter their pay rate here and add default working hours if the employee works the same schedule each week. If their hours vary, you can leave this blank and enter them manually each pay period. Next, we have additional pay types. This section lets you add extra earnings like overtime, bonuses, and commissions. You can click Add to select a new pay type. Then we have time off. This is where you set up policies like vacation pay, paid time off, and sick pay for eligible employees. You can also add unpaid time off if required. Then we have deductions and contributions. This is where you'd set things up like health insurance deductions, retirement contributions, or wage garnishments. You can also add an emergency contact in case something happens to the employee at work. It's not payroll related, but it's important for HR and safety reasons. Right, let's X out and hit done. Boom, we've entered an employee. Let's continue the setup by entering our tax information. We'll start by setting up auto tax. This is where QuickBooks takes care of calculating, paying, and filing your payroll taxes. It's a huge time saver and reduces the risk of missed deadlines. To switch this on, you'll need to add your federal and state tax information, connect your business bank account, and sign the tax forms so QuickBooks can file on your behalf. QuickBooks will ask you some general information about your business. Then you'll need to enter your federal tax info, including your employer identification number or EIN, which is required to run payroll in the US. Next, QuickBooks asks which payroll tax form you need to file with the IRS. Most businesses file Form 941 quarterly, but it's worth checking. And below that, you'll select how often you deposit payroll taxes. This depends on what the IRS has assigned your business, so you'll want to refer to any notices you've received. Next, we'll enter our state payroll tax information. Most states require their own employer tax account and unemployment insurance setup. So this is where you enter those state-specific details. Once that's done, QuickBooks can handle your state tax filings automatically. How do you run payroll in QuickBooks Online? Now that we've completed the setup, it's time to pay your team. There are two ways to run payroll. You can click the green Pay My Team button on the payroll overview screen, or click the Create button in the top left and select Payroll under the Team column. Both options take you to the same pay run screen. This is where everything comes together. At the top, you can confirm the pay period and the pay date. Always double check these before running payroll. Below that, you'll see each employee included in the pay run, along with their regular hours, overtime, sick pay, bonuses, and gross pay. If you're tracking time inside QuickBooks, those hours will automatically pull into this screen, so you don't need to re-enter them manually. Right now, Marissa has 36 regular hours, giving her a gross pay of $720. But let's say she did some overtime. Watch what happens. QuickBooks instantly recalculates everything. Overtime is applied at 1.5 times the hourly rate, total hours update, and gross pay adjusts automatically. No manual maths required. If we click Preview, QuickBooks will calculate all the taxes and deductions for us. It's our chance to review everything before hitting Submit. At the top left, you can see the total payroll cost to the business. In this case, that's $962.22. That total includes $840 in gross pay, plus $122.22 in employer taxes and contributions. This is the true cost of payroll to the company. Now let's look at Marissa. Her gross pay is $840, which includes her regular hours and overtime. After employee taxes and deductions, her net pay, the amount she'll actually receive, is $733.78. If it all looks correct, click Submit. QuickBooks confirms that everything has been processed and shows us the next step. We need to deliver one paper check by February 13th for a net total of $733.78. Since we're paying by paper check, we'll enter the check number in this field. That keeps everything properly recorded inside QuickBooks and makes the bank reconciliation easier later on. Now we'll click Print Pay Stub. This generates a detailed breakdown showing the pay period, total hours worked, regular and overtime pay, all taxes withheld, and the final net pay. This is your employee's official record of how their pay was calculated. You can print it out to attach to the check or download it as a PDF and send it to them digitally. Back in QuickBooks, you can download a detailed payroll report here. This exports a spreadsheet with a full breakdown of wages, taxes, and employer costs. If you'd like to try out QuickBooks Payroll for yourself, click the link on the screen or down in the description below. That'll get you the best available discount and it helps support this channel. And if you want to learn more about QuickBooks Online, then why not give this video a watch next? And I'll see you there.